We're quite a big organization. We have 520 members in Sweden, and from very many different backgrounds. Here we are representing both children, adults, all kinds of ages, and we are showing off that it was a campaign that we had in the spring. Or actually in the kind of between winter and spring, so we were dressed in summer clothes. I'm gonna tell you more about that soon, but we can see that behind our sign here that we have, this is our logo, and it's a guy who is, or a woman, guy or woman, doesn't matter, a person who is fee dodging. Fee dodging, I don't know if that's what you use that exact term. We've heard when we came to London, we tried it at the public transport system there at the underground, and there was a guy who was standing and nodding his head. So I asked him, what is this called? And he said it was called...
he said it was called finessing. I don't know if that's an English expression or what, but we usually call it fare dodging or fee dodging in English. And planka in Swedish then, which comes from a word, wooden boards to jump over them, planka. Yes, and I'll tell you a little bit about how it got started and the history. It was in 2001 when we started in Stockholm, Sweden. It was actually, the initiative was from the Youth Syndicalist Association in Sweden, who already had this practice of fare dodging in their lives, so to speak, in their everyday life. And it grew, it has grown to become something with, like we have groups in different parts of Sweden now. Like Gothenburg.
Yes, Gothenburg and Malmö is getting started.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're richer in Gothenburg than us. But I think we have more members in Stockholm. And I joined this year. It's like very much that if you're active, the active people are not so many as the people who actually take the benefit of the organization. Because to be active, well, basically you just have to support the ideas, and you can either be active free dodging, or what's it called? Fee dodging?
Fare dodging.
Fare dodging. We're just used to saying planka all the time. Either you can do that, or you can just sympathize, like Mark, and just be active in this way, coming here, or joining in different demonstrations, or also we fix events. There are many ways to be active.
And we happen to not be syndicalists, so it's for everyone, you know, everyone is welcome. So it's not political in that sense.
Exactly. And so for myself, I joined in January, but I actually had wanted to join for many, many years. So I had been fee dodging for a very long time. But then I had always thought, like, this planka, this seems very, very interesting. And so I just came to one meeting and I just became active right away. And I'll tell you a little bit about, like, my background, so that, like, everything has come at once. So I become a climate activist through blogging. And here Planka is one of the major things that I reflect, because it's really important that it's a transparent, you know, like the members can speak, and I see myself as such a member, that I can actually reflect what the work is about. And so I make videos, and together we make videos as well through the organization. I also go out as a pirate in the parks with some free food, or I'm sorry, sometimes it's free, but sometimes you have to also charge. So we were out with free food and Fridays for Future, but we also give out these stickers. I have some stickers today, And you see this bus here. It's a golden bus belonging to the leftish demonstrant movement. And we use it sometimes in our activities. Here is nolltaxa.nu. It means free, no charge, like free public transport. And it means nolltaxa ger dig guld och gröna skogar. Free public transport gives you gold and green forests, which implies that it has to do with the environment, that you have, you can work for a better environment through our organization. You people from England have a worse situation because we read that a few years ago, like 2 years ago, it was 135 pounds to travel with a monthly card here. So then it's no surprise that you have free Dodgers as well, yes. Yes.
We can talk a little bit about our way of financing ourselves and helping people who want to support this movement. We have something called the in Swedish P-kassa, which is sort of a trust or a pool of money that we collect from a small fee for anyone who wants to pay to our movement, a small fee monthly. And with that money that we get in, we help the people who get caught fare dodging, because they will, put a big fine on you and demand that you pay and so forth. So we pay all those fines for people getting caught.
Yeah.
So we try to support in a concrete way like that.
Yeah.
And we also use some of the money to support other organizations, like...
Ingen människa illegal. Ingen människa illegal.
Yeah, no person is illegal. So we help refugees and so forth, people without papers, so they can get travel cards and be able to move around.
Exactly. We have a party coming up soon with that organization. Ingen människa illegal, and then non-citizen, or it's non-citizen actually, because what happens, a big part of the problem is also that there is no solidarity in the system. It's like if you don't have, you're punished if you don't have enough money to pay for the train rides or the bus rides, the public transport. You're punished if they get you, then you have to pay a big fine. So in that sense, you're punished, and it's just a bad spiral. But also the people who are worse off, they can be deported. Like for example, immigrants. Sometimes the police comes together with the controllants and just takes them with them. If they don't have a pass that they can show that they have paid, then they can bring them into the station easily. And sometimes they do that anyway, like they go and look for people who don't seem to belong, But so this is also a form of protesting against that and resisting this kind of oppression from police and from the state, ultimately. So that's kind of the method how we work, but we release, one of the greatest accomplishments throughout the years is the release of 2 books. One, Så kom vi över spärrarna. This is how we got over the gates, basically how we built our organization, how we work. And one very interesting thing to note is that these kind of gates no longer exist. Now they have been replaced with gates that shut themselves very quickly. So if you pass, you have to blip. It's called blip. So you put your card on like the outside of the gate, right there. The place where you put it. A very short time. So like the free dodgers, they go behind the people, and then like some people, it's okay. They think it's fun, perhaps, and other people, they get annoyed, but usually they don't notice because everybody's in their own thing. But so, anyway, it has become so bad that, that's just one way of free dodging, but it's become so terrible that some people get so hurt by these fences. So you can actually be hurt. You can get injury, like children, and start crying. And so the actual system is quite cold and fierce. So we have to, in that sense, be fierce back and be everywhere that we can be, with stickers, with parties. Also, we have decided to take the help of illustrators, famous illustrators. Here is the work of this guy who is a famous Swedish illustrator, and he specializes on depicting the right-wing politicians and like humorizing, making parody pictures of the interaction between them and the ones who they affect the most, which is basically a large part of society, kids and families. And we don't have such a marked class society, but we still do. We have rich people and very poor people and the middle class and everything. So would you like to speak a little bit about trafikmaktordningen?
Yes, that's
in English.
One of the books we have published, and it's the one we have here to give away for free to anyone who wants one of those. And in that book we talk a bit more theoretically about the structure of traffic and the power it's connected to, and the injustices it leads to, the control system, and it talks a lot about the theory of automobility, a kind of idea that puts the car at the top as the most important thing and the symbol for freedom, and the rich get richer.
Yeah, the status symbol is the car, and then the ones on the bottom are the people who take the public transport, and they're the ones that are prioritized the less. We have less resources. When there's the rush hour, it's like in Japan. So people are just clammed into the trains, and there's so much that needs to get better. But we feel really hopeful for the future because there is free public transport in very many cities in the world. I mean, it's not enough, of course, but in Luxembourg it will start next year, and then there is in Tallinn, and we have it also in Sweden in 3 major cities, or not major, but medium-sized. So this gives hopes for the future and for our work, but one of the major difficulties, I think, is to reach to the masses, because they still think that we're just, like plunkers, or what you say here in England, like they think we're just like slackers or something, which we really are not. We're just represented in all areas of society, and we would like to live a freer life. This is about like freedom of movement for everybody, so we can live in more harmony with the environment. So I've written even a song about this. One song, the first song, I think there will be more, and I will quote it and then finish off. So like blip, that's what they want us to do. And if you would like to join in, it's, so I don't blip because it's something I must skip. No, I won't blip, it's just something I must skip. I've got the spare time blues. Well, I'm waiting for you. Will I dare to jump the fence to get over to you? Yes, I will dare, because I don't blip and it's something I must skip. We don't blip, it's something we must skip. Yep. This is 1st of May with friends from Planka, and my little son is present, Christian, who wrote one of the books that you're going to be able to to read as well, if you wish. And back to the first picture. And just to point out that this is a global movement, so it's free public transport. If you look that up, there are ways to join. Just needs to come to town. So through this pirate care practice, we can really be solidaric. But really, the masses have to join. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. It's a lot of fun, and we are connected to one another, connecting to our the people that we don't even know, perhaps, but that we want to help. People, immigrants who are seeking asylum, poorer people, people at the sharp edge of society, like somebody said here yesterday. And also, in a sense, it's a very feministic movement because we are taking care of the earth through choosing to just move the resources from a very a practice that does not, in any way, that isn't sustainable, into a practice of reorganizing free public transport, or diverting the infrastructure, so that we can be freer and just live happier together and not have this controllative oppression on us, which is not so easy to live with for many people. Yes, one more last thing is that one of the moderate, right-wing politicians, who is very high up in the structure, wants to put the fee dodgers in jail. So the campaign that we're going to be out with next is to give out flyers with a picture of this guy, and he's standing in front of this jail. It's one of these satires, and in there is almost everybody. And they want people to be jailed, so in that sense, this is real pirate care practice, because it's trying to be criminalized, basically, the practice of fee dodging, and it could become a problem if they were to get this through, to pass such a law through. So we have really taken it seriously and made lots of flyers, and we're going to be participating in many political gatherings in Sweden this year, such as Almedalsveckan. But not only there, we're going to be out also amongst the people. Thank you.